Well, Future Stars was one of the promos of the year. I think that's about as much as you could say about the promo, honestly. I don't know. Right now, there's a lot of discourse around the game, and there's no real consensus either at the moment, it feels like. Everyone's kind of asking, you know, what the hell's going on with gameplay, with content right now? And I think the lack of this promo coming up actually looking promising, apart from Maradona, which we'll talk about, I think kind of sparked this debate a little bit. And the gameplay debate's been raging for the last month at this point. So we'll talk about all of that, though. A new Player of the Month winner was just announced. It could be a pretty good card as well. We do have Dembele's stats and his playstyle pluses, so we'll go and look at that and see if that's like an elite meta card or just a good card or it sucks, or we'll go and look at that. If you guys would like to buy coins, you can go to MMOXP.com. There will be a link in the description. They are the cheapest and safest option. You can use my code JFC at checkout for a 5% discount. And thanks for joining, of course, those who like the videos every day when I don't really ask you to. That, I mean, that's, I'm in debt to you. But okay, really the discourse right now is all, unfortunately, negative with the game, really. And we're now getting to the point where it's like content too. I think people were okay with kind of having a slower promo, and I think that that's what this was. And we'll get into that more in a sec. But Schweinsteiger came out, and the card is like, it's pretty damn good. I wouldn't say it's insane must-do territory, but it's pretty damn good. It feels like with some of these cards, they're holding back just slightly, it feels like. He's got very good rolls and good play styles, so don't get me wrong, it's a good-ass card. But, you know, it feels like with like this Clivert that comes out, right? Clivert doesn't get crazy, like, promo cards, and they still couldn't make this one that great. I know I'm being nitpicky here, but this is where I mean, like, you can give out slower content, but then still have it be good at the same time in a way. Because if you drop one player SBC a day, say a content day comes out, it's one player SBC, it's Patrick Kluivert, right? If the card's pretty damn good and unique as well, which you can do now pretty easily considering that playstyles exist, roles exist, obviously just the card stats themselves, there's ways to make cards unique more, and I feel like they don't do that. I don't know if part of that is because people who make the SBCs don't play the game that much. I think now that we see SBCs coming out, they're just so drastically different in terms of like where they want to upgrade, what they're thinking about. For example, Kluivert comes out, he's got weird play styles, and other cards out there like they drop a one play style plus Ivan Illich or flashback Mason Mount, right? With stats that just don't jump off the page to you at all. And then they go out and drop Morgan Rogers, who looks pretty amazing. So I don't know if it's more so they luck into like dropping a really good SBC because they don't really know exactly the intricacies of how we judge cards, if that makes sense, or if it's just they want to really delay the good stuff. I don't really know. I feel like it could be either one there, but it's just so strange seeing they do make some cards unique, and then other cards they don't. It looks like they just don't care. Like you drop a Patrick Kluivert, and it just seems like it's not that much different than any of their strikers out right now. In fact, a lot worse than most strikers we have, you know? So I'm bringing all of this up because basically all day on Twitter today was simply a complaint fest, and a lot of it was about content, and a lot of it was about gameplay. It's Haber went on Twitter today and said EA stock dropped, they panicked and made Team of the Year incredible, and now it's slightly up again, and they just don't give a fuck anymore. Super sad. Future Stars totally ruined this year, and this Grassroots Greats promo looks like it has been nerfed into the ground, and the second part we'll talk about. But basically we're back to unhappiness all over the place with many players, and people don't really exactly have a reason why, apart from obviously the broad things like gameplay sucks and content sucks. So I'm talking about like, you know, the next step. Like, okay, what about content sucks? What about the gameplay sucks? And that's where we have the hard time with stuff. And I think there's just so much that people don't like that, yeah, of course there's no consensus when there's just so much. And I do agree that it is strange that Future Stars was pretty bad this year. I don't know why they like doing that now. They must just not really think Future Stars is all that worth making it good anymore. I don't really get that part. But then this part up here, you know, EA stock dropped, they panicked, made Team of the Year incredible. Now it's slightly up again. They just don't give a fuck anymore. This is just, I think, completely not true. I do not think they're sitting there going, hey, what was our stock price today? Oh, it's going up. Yeah, let's the content, let's slow it down again. Who cares? That is not what's going on. We have a free Maradona coming tomorrow. Like, they would not be doing that if it wasn't for the stock price. So this is kind of a fundamental misunderstanding of like what they're doing and why the stock price affects certain things. It's not a day by day thing. This is not a, oh, they wake up in the morning, see the stock price is different and go, okay, content's dependent on that, or even a weekly thing or barely a monthly thing. This is literally a multi-month like process that they looked at an entire quarter and were like, okay, profits were down. That's 3 months. that's sort of the time frame they're looking at, not days, not, oh, team of the year stock is now back up post that. Future Stars content equals bad now, which I'm not even saying that's what Haber thinks exactly, but I just think him mentioning the stock price here is just, I don't think he and some FIFA fans like understand exactly, like this isn't some sort of daily thing. It takes a long time for this to affect us. And also, yeah, I don't think Grassroots Grades promo is going to be very good probably, but just, you know, it's been nerfed into the ground. This was all just leaker stuff, by the way, guys. And we'll get into some leaks and news in a sec. Just bear with me. I like to talk about the content and gameplay when that's on people's minds. I like to kind of have this channel be sort of an echo of what the community is talking about on a day-to-day basis, because that matters a lot to me. And the promo being nerfed into the ground, like this is all leaker stuff, like a Barbo, Gervinho, Doumbia not coming yet, but the eye emoji. These leaks were not entirely fake, keep in mind, like they are added into the code in some ways. Their profiles are all in the database, so you can read a Barbo, Gervinho, Doumbia's profiles, like what their hero profiles would look like. So leakers didn't just make this shit up, but EA is not at fault actually here for us believing these could come out and they don't come out, right? You could maybe argue that yes, they still are, because they obviously were close to coming out and they didn't end up coming out, so that's on EA, of course, you could say, but it's hard to blame that on EA. And I'm sorry this is off-centered, by the way, but this is actually the Grassroots Grades hero design right here, and this is the regular player design, and this is the icon design, which we've seen already. But the regular player design looks like this, which is just basically, I mean, this looks like the inside of a drug addict's blood cells. I'm not exactly sure what that design looks like. And then Stam, I actually like the blue one a lot more than the green one, actually. And Stam and Bruno Fernandes are both in the promo, so that's what it looks like. But yeah, it's kind of not really anybody's fault. A lot of leakers have been trying to engagement bait, so you could say that, yeah, leakers were trying to engagement bait, and like that was an issue there. But the letdown of it sort of started the convos, and we'll get to gameplay here in a sec, don't worry. But we have the Maradona official card as well right now, and we actually have, I think we have 3 Maradona versions coming today, at least 3, because this is his like base icon, right? When there's no promo Maradona, he's gonna have this card. He has the same, I think it's joint highest rated. Him and Pele are the 2 highest at 95, and the replies, of course, didn't get that. You know, 1 playstyle plus in February, we're crying. Only 1 playstyle plus, his employees need to be sacked. Like, trust me, there's so much to complain about. Just make sure we're getting it right when we know what we're complaining about. This is not his promo icon card. I mean, I don't know. And we saw his promo version already, and then we saw his like 77 rated one yesterday. Then we got news about his Evoed card, and FUT Agent says here that that final card is apparently very similar to the final evolution, plus or minus 1 on stats, cam or striker, and 2 playstyle pluses. Now there's no word yet, and if it's going to be a club member thing where club members end up actually getting like the better version, or if it's like anybody can get the better version, we don't know that for sure yet. But if it is club members, that sparked debate too, once again, because is that a fair way to go about doing things? I would personally then rather, yes, do like days logged into the game or days played. That's a better way for me of rewarding people who stayed by the game for a long time than setting like an arbitrary purchase date. But of course, that exists because they want to create FOMO. That does that. My guess would be we get another one this year after Maradona, maybe in a couple weeks or a month or so, where it's like if you played this game from maybe October or something or before, you'll end up getting a better version of that player. So there's just, it's all FOMO tactics, right? And that of course is shitty, but that's what they do. This is what they do. And then you have the gameplay side of it, which of course, like, you know, top Reddit post right now, game back to pre-team of the year state, cement boots, AI defending running rampant, defenders catching up, attacking AI almost non-existent, all this stuff, right? Yet still top reply, yet games are still goal fest now. This guy says, you know, the real difference, I was winning more, now I'm losing more. You know, probably some truth to that, but I think that, yeah, in a way, yes, we are back to pre-team of the year state, but I think the difference is like, it's not the gameplay going back to how it was previously in a way. It's mostly just the game sucked before, it sucks now. So like that's where it's the same, but it's not, it sucks for different reasons. Well, some of it being the same reasons. I think that the delay, that just hasn't changed. Will it ever change? Probably not, but that's the biggest problem. And also the ball is bouncing everywhere. I mean, that is a huge problem, is that the ball literally, like they made the pass speed more increased and increased certain speeds of things, but they didn't, I guess, account for like what would happen to the rest of the game. I think they tried to make a quick fix because they knew they were in trouble, or at least they knew they needed to make a change really soon because people were just not playing the gameplay anymore. So they made a quick change and it helped in the short term, but in the long term, it becomes like, damn, this ball literally just is flying all over the fucking place. So I think why there's no consensus on gameplay stuff or content stuff right now is because there's just a lot of different facets at play, a lot of things that in terms of gameplay are partly true. People sometimes have a hard time figuring out why their gameplay's bad, and then content feels like kind of that post team of the year problem we talked about on my second channel. So a lot going on right now, but of course let me know what you guys think about it. But okay, we do have Ousmane Dembele's card leaked now, and it looks like this: so whip pass plus and rapid plus, and only 81 shooting on him. I mean, the card looks still pretty damn good. It's just the 81 shot is not going to be great, and you know they're going to price this in a way that it's not going to be actually congruent with an 81 shot player, right? They're going to price this probably mad high. And it's one of those confusing things again to me a little bit, where Ousmane Dembele right now, he has a Globetrotters card with 81 shot, right? This one's got quick step plus 2 instead of rapid. He does not have a 2 play style plus card right now, but his top in form is this. And taking a look at the 2, right, you've got a +2 shooting boost, 2 passing, 1 dribbling, 1 pace. It feels like, okay, if you're gonna do it so that the stat upgrade's not very big, then maybe just make it so that the play styles are better. And they don't do that either. And maybe people liked whipped a lot. Maybe I'm underestimating that a little bit, but it feels like every card's just missing something right now. It feels like every card they release is always a little bit like, meh, it's always missing something. And that's what EA like, because then there's always something to come back for again tomorrow. There might be a card release that you like more tomorrow. Except the problem is right now, a lot of us have team of the years in our teams, like maybe 1 or 2 that a team of the year blueprint Evo, obviously. Like, I just don't get where EA thinks upgrading our team will come into play here at all. We don't have game modes right now that are conducive to like using lesser teams. We don't really have that. What happened to friendlies recently? Like, friendlies is all Evo elites now, and that's really it for the past, I mean, how long? Maybe a month or 2 for the team of the year cup, I suppose. But once again, you end up with it's not like you couldn't use top rated players in that cup, I don't think, right? So we're not in a place where these types of cards really mean much if they're not going to for sure slot in our team, and that's where people get bored of content quickly. But obviously I'm complaining a lot today, but I like to try and solve problems and try and figure out what the problems are and where people kind of struggle to maybe figure out why they don't like certain things. I like to try and figure out actually why that is, and I think that's one of the reasons. It's like, you see this content, you're like, okay, well, it's not actually that bad, but I don't have any use for it, so what's the point? Maybe that's a you thing, right? Maybe that's just an us thing. Maybe casuals have a ton of use for that stuff. So like I've said, lots of different facets of things here. But Verts also is a player of the month card. He won Bundesliga player of the month. These are his official stats here: incisive and first touch. And once again, I mean, that's a pretty damn good card right there, but looks very, very similar to this 91 Winter Wild card. And he has a 91 Winter Wild card, another 91 Winter Wild card, different role, keep in mind, but then another 92 team with your honorable mention. So it's like, when you release a card like this, I mean, who's it really gonna be for? They're all pretty cheap, right? 140k. Team of the year nominee is up at 338. That's not that cheap, but just feels like you could do so much more with these types of things. And maybe once again, I'm looking for too much here, but this was where the frustration comes in for people like us. I feel like that the non-casuals, and even if you are a casual, but maybe you know more about the game than maybe a normal casual would, it feels like you're just kind of purposely not giving us what we could get. Another example of that, once again, Team of the Week comes out, right? And they're giving them better playstyle pluses, which I think is awesome. But then you go out and guess what EA does? They go out and give all the 2 playstyle plus cards this week. They go and give them long throw and power shot for a right back mainly, with pretty meh stats. Castellanos power header plus, of course. Ping pass is cool, but power header plus, of course. And then we got Fudala, who's got finesse shot plus, which is great. But then they give her flair plus, because the first thought's like, okay, well, they're Evo darlings, right? They're gonna be great for that. But then 2 playstyle pluses, that eliminates you from what, probably half the Evos you're gonna be able to do. So just shows you like you finally have a good idea here, and you did it with Matrita last week. Quick step and finesse, awesome. Can't link that card, right? No one uses him still, but you at least made him darn good, and still you just do this. Like, it feels like you're always just taking. Like, I don't get why you can't just give a Klaus card with not so great stats actually compared to what we get for promos. Give him fucking incisive and long ball. Give him, if you want to give him power shot, give him power shot and intercept. That's a pretty unique combo. Maybe do that instead of just power shot and long throw. So I don't know. Maybe looking too much into stuff, but there's always a give and take, and they take so much. You don't need to, it feels like. And also, shout out Pakelme. If this Cherokee card that came out today is used or is able to be used in an Evo, he's gonna go up in price a lot. Yes, the Flare Plus, obviously, that's not that great. But if the Evo drops up, you know, Finesse Shot Plus in there, something crazy, then he's gonna go up. So I would recommend buying a Cherokee or 2. I guarantee you he's probably gonna rise if an Evo comes out and he can fit inside of that. So thank you for Pakelme for shouting that one out. And once again, Lewis Skelly, they just dropped a really nice combo there. You know, it makes you feel like they just did that, but then for this week they make it suck again. That's why it feels like they almost get lucky when they do something like this, and it's really good, because it feels like they don't really know what makes cards good in our eyes. But I don't know. Anyway, we do have Maradona coming, right? That's gonna affect cams. It's affected cams for the last about 24 hours since the news dropped. The market just seems to never rise anymore. I think probably because the gameplay demand was so high, it inflated it a little bit, and now we're going just, you know, slowly trickling back back down again. But if you want to look at investments, an easy thing for me, team of the weeks are going to be incredible investments, which by the way, Chabot, look at that pace split, 99 sprint speed, 56 acceleration. That's hilarious. But team of the weeks being 85 plus, I wonder if their pack weight's affected by that. I feel like they're going to be rarer, and I feel like they're going to be better investments now because of that. So a lot of investing nowadays is like holding on at a really low value and just waiting to see when things drop, because it's a matter of time. That's how it was with fodder for a long time, but we haven't talked about fodder in a while because there's not been very big SBCs recently, really, apart since that Mbappe. There's not been really much. But team of the weeks to me, I'm totally cool with like at 15,000 or whatever they're at right now. I think that it's a matter of time until something comes out where team of the weeks are needed again, especially if you go and buy a Rategi, right, with finesse shot plus Evo potential there, 87 rated. This is a money investment at 15.75. Snipe him at 15k. There's literally no way that goes wrong, and you just have to hoard as many as you want to and wait until he's 25. You know, wait until he's way up, and it might take a month, it might take 2-3 days, but he's gonna be up huge. If you want to buy some future stars cards, Pavlovich, Jimenez, Rivals rewards would be my best guess at buying those guys. But yeah, that's kind of all I gotta say about it, I think. Okay, let's read your comments now. We've got AFH, who says the fact that people are apparently upset about everyone getting this Maradona card shows just how awful this community, quote unquote, truly is. There's not a single person that plays the game that doesn't want that card. So clearly the issue is they want the card, but they don't want anyone else to have it. And that shows what a cesspool of entitled, selfish arseholes this game has created. And I think that, yes, part of what you said is for sure true. I think that it is pretty hilarious that the goal of a game is to like have fun, right? And the fact that we get a free GOAT basically is crazy. That's complained about. But I don't think most of the complaints about it are, I don't want you to have Maradona, but I want him. I don't think that's most of the complaints. Most of the complaints are people saying like, I don't like how they give it out, club members, and they don't like that. They don't like the teams being all the same, which I don't think is probably the best way to look at it, in my opinion. I mean, that problem's existed for so long that that's more of a game mode issue. We talked about that yesterday. But if there's people out there that literally just straight up don't like people getting Maradona just because everyone gets him, I think is dumb. But I do think there is some valid complaints out there about like the whole system they've got. But I think that us getting Maradona, like imagine a casual who just like is a, you know, somewhat Ultimate Team player. Some of you maybe even out there for the past 10 years, right? You've never gotten to use Diego Maradona in FIFA, and now you're gonna be able to get to. That's the whole point of the game, is to use our favorite players. So to say that it's a bad thing is obviously, yes, that would be entitled and selfish. But I think there is some valid complaints in there about how they do it, like the whole arbitrary club member date to create FOMO. But this vid is nothing but a yap sesh. If you guys are still here, thank you for being here. You guys are true fans. Nicholas Cartledge, you know there was a time when we didn't have leaks. You'd log into the game on a Friday afternoon and be surprised by what EA released, and then discuss how hyped or disappointing the promo was. And that's the part of this comment I want to discuss, is that was a great time. I mean, that really was kind of the golden age of Ultimate Team, and we had no idea what was dropping at content time, but we knew we had content dropping every day. Now we literally we know what's dropping before it comes out every single day for the most part. There are still some surprises in there like Evos and stuff like that, but for the most part, we know now, and we didn't know before. And I think that there might be a bit of magic lost in that whole sort of getting on every day and seeing what was new. I do wonder if maybe seeing the stock price going down, even though the stock price was up at its debatably highest point when leaks were still a thing, maybe they would make a change on that. Maybe for next year we won't see leaks anymore, or maybe it's just something that we will always have to deal with now and there's no escaping it. I don't exactly know how they even come to be. I think EA employees, I think, are involved in this, so I think that's very hard to like stop, I think, at that point. I don't know, but it does make you wonder if some of like that magic is missing a bit because we just don't have that surprise every day anymore. And some might say, well, hey, you can still do that by not looking at social media, right? You still be able to technically do that, but like that's not realistic to do. Market crashes happen due to leaks now. If you don't want to get fucked over coins wise, you have to be up to date. It's just not feasible to do that anymore. So I do wonder though, if there was a time that this was ever going to change, it would be next year because of the way things are going right now. And Rajon Stooley, what's this promo about? We have no idea. And I genuinely do think this probably was released to just like be a Maradona promo. Maybe that's not the case. Maybe it's not. And we'll get a bigger understanding of what this promo actually means when it comes out. But I would probably guess that more than likely when they made this promo, probably a few months back, when they were well aware about their revenue letdown, like they've been well aware of that for a while, that probably was just why this promo existed, was like, hey, it's a Maradona. It'll be a free Maradona promo for 1 week. That's what it's going to be. And then we'll go to Fantasy FUT. But I don't know. We still have no word about that. And hopefully it's cool, because if it's not, we're gonna have like 3 weeks of not great content. And that is such a strange choice from EA. Like, why? You had momentum content-wise, and you just fucking flush it down the toilet. But we have to wait and see. It could be good. We don't really know. I think that's it. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate you all so much. This might be my longest video, actually, now that I think about it. If you made it this far, thank you for being here. I appreciate you all so much. Love you guys, everyone. Peace.